thing is that that does not ban
well,
out.
they're just banning away Crowd on the other side, so it's just going to be a double mid lane attack.
And we've had that already this week. Remember KT vs King Zone last week? We actually had a lot of mid lane focus, and that didn't help UCAL one bit. We know BDD has the champion Ocean, even if you ban all the tanks. We'll see if they ban the third one, if they want to flex the Sion themselves, and they say, well, we're thinking about Sion. Because we know that King Zone will play it if it is on the red side. So a lot open. Olaf is a very strong pick for Haru, and we know about Peanuts Olaf. Will that be the final ban and leave open something like the Varus? I think KSV so far is pretty happy that one of their core picks will be available regardless of what King Zone ban.
I'm sure Khan is not looking forward to playing against a Sion. We've already heard his thoughts on the matter. And they're not going to ban it either, so Varus will just be taken away. They're a roller favorite.
And I think if you're King Zone, you're happy to see KSV lock in the Sion, whether it is mid or top lane, because Cuvée hasn't found any success on it, and Crown has practiced it in solo queue, but also not found huge success. Speaking of not finding huge success, the Xayah Rakan, which makes a lot of sense for Ruler and Core JJ, they duo to the top of Challenger with the famous Lovers duo, is going to be available, but look at the cost. You're giving up Olaf, who was buffed, to Peanut if they want it, and right now Peanut can just select it for himself.
Well, not even going to be going for the Rakan, so not interested in denying that pick away as King Zone, so they'll just allow KSV to take it. Olaf and Tahm Kench both going to be snatched up, and Camille's going to be locked in. We'll see if this is a flex into the jungle for Haru, or if it's going to be Cuvée. He's played that multiple times so far during this split, but his KD and his win rate hasn't been nearly as high as Khan's, which is undefeated at the moment.
I mean, unfair, because of course they win every game, but he himself has been a shining light on the top lane Camille, and jungle Camille recently with the Warrior into Trinity Force has not been working. It's been the famine side of Feast or Famine, and he's against an Olaf, so while you could consider it, I think you put that one on the bench for today's match. Speaking of considerations, they see 3 champions are not true tanks. And Prey will be returning to his Jhin. He's shown us the Jhin and Ashe. He's brought back some of those old picks. Power level of the Jhin much higher after a couple of buffs, of a couple of patch rotations. And we get to see it again as a facilitator for the rest of King Zone.
Plenty of protection there with the Tahm Kench, can keep him safe. If that Rakan wants to jump forward, try to get that grand entrance to lock him down. And with, like you said, Prey, I remember when Jhin first got brought into the meta. I remember watching him play this champion as it was brought to the forefront of the pick and ban, and it was just beautiful.
Yeah, I was watching old OGN intros, and the spring 2016 intro between Rocks, Tigers, and SKT ends with Bang and Prey with the masked Jhin pose into the screen. That was around the time of Jhin release, so they definitely are both associated. This dominating AD carry. Fun to see him back in the meta after so much time on the sidelines, as KSV says, please not the Jace, anything but the Jace, as if Cuvée wants to play Gnar, he doesn't want to deal with the Khan Jace.
Well, Zac going to be banned away here. So Sejuani and the Zac taken out. So tankier junglers, not usually Haru's style. We'll see where he wants to go. Rengar recently got a very slight buff, but something tells me we probably won't see that one locked in.
And we probably won't see the Sion locked in for mid lane because the Jhin doesn't represent a high damage AD carry to facilitate a tanky mid laner, and it seems like it's going to be a high damage mid laner as they are right now considering going for the Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia would have been a flex. This is not a flex. With BDD on the Talia, reminding us that sometimes he doesn't play tanks.
Has one available. Passes up on it. We'll see what the final pick is going to be there for the top lane for Khan, but for now KSV mulling things over.
Cuvée has to blind pick. We'll see what he decides. Could also just be the Camille, of course, and that would be the safest buy pick. So we think it's probably going to be jungle and mid. With the mid lane, the Vel'Koz is gone, and I'm going to return to Syndra to have as much kill pressure in the mid lane as possible. Not being a successful pick for him this year, but was massive for him in 2017.
Yeah, finally had some mastery over that champion after struggling with it for so long. And
it will end up being a jungle Camille, which has been a risky pick recently, and the blind pick top laner will be Ryze. It is rising in popularity. It is also a very strong pick into the Vladimir. That was a potential for Khan to consider. See what Khan is going to play.
I'll just go unkillable then and pick the Sion.
That will be the jerk choice, but of course he could go into a Banner of Command and feel really good about the side lane. He will go Sion, so Abyssal Mask into Banner of Command Sion in order to play the lanes. Interesting comp from King Zone. For once, it feels like BDD will be the most consistent damage dealers. Jhin is much more about burst. Olaf also can take over a game. And we get to see a carry jungle matchup with Peanut on Olaf. And this seems pre-planned from KSV. They trust in Haru on the Camille that has been on the wane recently, but can situationally take over games in her own right.
No cheeky flip's going to be coming through, so just going to be Rise sitting in top. See how Cube is going to handle this one. Getting it through the Scion there, especially on the side of Khan, is going to be an extreme challenge. And we know Khan can make this tank pick into a very aggressive one and end up getting some kills in the 1v1. See if he pulls that off for us here today. Gives us a fantastic showing before they go away for a while. 3 weeks into that grand final, as you said. So these guys probably want to go out of the regular season with a bit of a bang as they get ready for that.
And our fans, KSV, King Zone, or even some of the backseat SKT fans will want to know where to look. And you should look in the jungle for this particular game. King Zone are about hitting specific timings. They do have relatively low damage as the game goes on, and these are both junglers that snowball or are snowballed upon. I feel like if Olaf is held in check by Haru, this could actually be a really happy time for KSV, who have a lot more damage as the game goes on.
Yeah, that. The Camille coming into the bottom lane. Hextech ultimatum ready to go. Get a lockdown there onto the Jhin. It's going to have to be Gorilla really on point with those Devours to help keep him alive. So if this Camille can start popping off, can track down the Olaf and get ahead of him, this could be good news for KSV. Let's see if they can pull it off. The miracle victory to upset SK Telecom's playoff hopes. Let's see if they can do it as we start off with game number 1. KSV fans hanging in there, desperately wanting this victory.
It's a big contingent of them today as well. Usually they are around the middle in terms of fan interaction and fan attendance, but seeing plenty of them today desperate. See their charges come through. Understandable. Again, if you're joining us late, if KSV lose, they are not instantly eliminated, but they are effectively eliminated with how many matches need to go their way. A lot of fans here hoping for the best, but the King Zone fans repping as well.
Well, Peanut fans coming out here. They already have the roll-off ready to go. Peanut is doing them some service by picking this one up.
And to me, KSV rolled the dice the most on the jungle position, which I mentioned I think is the featured matchup here, suggesting that they were happy to have the jungle Camille that struggled in the LCK recently go into Peanut's Olaf, the man who brought it back into the meta, and now has made it first ban, even before the buff that came in on patch 8.5. Wow, in 8.5, as you can see in the bottom left of the screen, Kai'Sa enabled. That's a bit different from the LCS regions that are continuing on with Kai'Sa disabled and on patch 8.5.
Waiting to see that one come through.
And you see key player BDD, and I was doing some BDD research today, as I want to do once in a while. I've been able to find out that in his games on King Zone, that includes the Longzhu games in summer season, so we're talking about regular season, summer 2017, the playoffs, and also regular season in 2018, BD has played 85 games and died 89 times. He actually dies 1.05 times a game. And speaking of death, it's a level 1 game.
Room Prison coming through here. Haru looking for the lockdown, and Khan, yeah, he's got nowhere to go. Doesn't burn the flash. He's just going to get taken down immediately. 2.5 minutes in. Cheeky gank comes through.
Do notice he can actually push in the minion wave because he doesn't die fast in the zombie mode. Look at how much gold he's picking up here for his first shot. This is actually not irrelevant. He's able to push up the wave. He gets back in. Gets boots out of it. That's what happens when you die as a Scion. You're passive, pretty useful.
In the meantime, Peanut here trying to solo down this Ocean Drake. Throws out the smite to get that HP back, but we know how tough the Ocean Drake is, but Haru, he's straight back in for maybe another cheeky gank.
But he's level 3 because of all the experience he got. This is a much harder gank to pull off. But like you mentioned, there is a possibility.
He still has the flash, so maybe just looking to take that away from him.
And then Haru's like, the standard 3-minute Ocean Drake. Peanut just saw the camp in topside, and of course you expect the jungler to stay, because that's usually the way when you get a teleport back into lane. So he gets an uninterrupted Ocean, and overall, given the fact that Khan got so much experience, it's actually a trade up for the side of King Zone.
Not going to be relatively okay with the way that things have transpired so far. I'd like to get that gold back into their favor, but for now, not too bad. The Rise going to get the first blood, so we'll help fast-track that tier of the Goddess to come through so it can start stacking up faster. So maybe even just straight in for the Catalyst, we'll see.
The King Zone here is all about the groupie and the set plays, and we do see that often from them in their mid-lane Scion games. But this time it's BDD on the consistent damage, prey on a utility AD carry on the Jhin, who can snowball very hard, but of course in the late game can be answered. It's probably going to be Essence Reaver into Rapid Fire Cannon IE, so the most consistent damage from a Jhin rather than the Youmuu's Rush. But it's still going to be lesser damage. The game goes on, and KSV have 4 people who are damage dealers. So as the game goes on, certainly is a bit of light at the end of the tunnel for KSV as the late game approaches. Mid-game, though, King Zone have a lot of different options, and QV on the Rise is something we should return to. Even before he was respected as one of the big mid laners in Korea, I'm thinking of 2015 when Samsung Galaxy at the time were one of our struggling teams. He was actually always known as a very mechanically gifted top lane Rise player. So he's jumping back on a pick he knows very well.
Well, Peanut's going to be zooming his way through here. Axe not going to connect there onto QV, but he's still got the flash available. Will now jump away, but they're jumping in, get the decimating slam in for the slow, and now he's got nowhere to go. Hit comes through, Khan finds revenge. They'll essentially tie up the gold.
And you know, they're used to those ganks in the mid lane. This time it's the top lane as Khan has jumped onto the Scion. No way to go down a long lane as Rise. Olaf is the best at catching people who are 50% or further up the top lane. They get the kill, they back away, and King Zone arrests the gold lead that was generated from the first play.
So 1-1, King Zone back into the lead. Ocean Drake there in their favor as well. So in a pretty good spot as Khan will go back to base. See what he'll be picking up here.
Haru's looking for a cheese gank onto Peanut.
Yeah, doesn't have the Ragnarok yet. He's just going to jump in there. Gets a little bit of damage, and yeah, as you say, level 5 versus level 4. Gets the stun off in the tactical sweep, so we'll chunk out the Olaf quite a bit as Peanut burns down from that red.
That's a skirmisher's saber advantage because Peanut goes into the boots to get the Predator. That's why he's been able to be in such a good spot. And Peanut's waiting on Ocean Drake for a bit, but gets the Scion info.
Haru now getting pinched on. Ground's gone back. And they're just protecting Peanut as he clears out these Raptors.
He maxed the hook shot from the jungle, so he had a very reliable escape. Like the creative jungling from Haru, who was trying to make something happen. But obviously when Crown started the recall, he knew the jig was up.
And Khan is just straight back in the top lane. It's like he never left. Wave's just ready to go.
We'll have his ult available too, very, very soon to give himself an escape, and so will QV. Multiple interrupts for both of them, though, as bot lane. That's going to happen a lot.
Exactly. Nothing really going to come of those engages unless the Devourer happens to be down. Nice little bit of damage there on the Prey as he gets chunked out. Deadly Flourish won't connect. Trades back decently. Just got to be waiting for those level 6 engages to come through. That's when we're going to be seeing the curtain call.
Plenty of time to return to top lane as well, as QV's flash will be down for another 2.5 minutes or so. Phase rush onto QV. Top lane, we've seen comment a lot from Keen on the Rise and Unsealed Spellbook situationally, but will be the phase rush this game to try to find a way to step away from the axes. Drake spawning just around 9 minutes. Peanut is on a journey bot lane. It's going to be hard to pull off.
Gorilla's going to get popped up. Deadly Flourish comes down. They get the root here onto Ruler, and he uses the Blade Caller. Now Peanut's coming around from the side.
They're looking for a map player. Talia coming down as well. Haru spots him.
Yeah, BDD getting ready to come through. Ruler going to get jumped on, and he might just get popped. There it is. BDD finds the kill. Now looking for a second one as Core JJ gets locked down. He'll die. In the meantime, Gorilla has been picked off on the backside as Haru arrives. But a double kill goes over to BDD, and now Haru has to try to make it in underneath the turret. He'll take a significant chunk of damage, and here comes the curtain call. One shot, one kill. Prey picks it up.
And once again, playing with their food is King Zone. Gorilla flashed into Haru, not ideal. Crown's in the bot lane.
Seismic shove. Deadly Flourish not going to connect, but now Peanut's coming straight back in. Crown gets locked up. Stun connects, however, there onto Prey. And that is going to be the teams going their separate ways. But big explosion of kills over here for the side of King Zone, getting 3 in that engage.
And the outrageous thing is they trade up in summoners as well. It's only one flash used. Here's the replay. Level 5 on the bot lane would have been the information passed from King Zone. Gorilla's being the true bro, tanking up the turret, and then finds Haru. He's like, but blue and red are up. What's this all about? It does die through all of it. But King Zone have been the kings of these coordinated dives. They pull off another one, about as clean as can be. Now they're in a gold lead, which sets so many of these fans around the LCK into a very happy mood.
Very impressive that Gorilla can out-bro Broloff.
It's true.
But he's just that good.
He knows his role. You know, they went for a first-round Tom Kench. She accepted that he could be counterpicked in lane.
Sometimes that guy. Oh, this is just going to be the ultimate coming through. Decimating Smash gets the hit. One more to do it, but he doesn't have the flash to follow, so Cuvée will walk away with less than 10 HP there.
We'll call that one calculated. Not really sure how the earlier trades happened to allow Khan to walk up, but he did have the Ocean Drake go into the darkness for a moment and come back out.
Again, this is what I was saying. Even with this extremely tanky pick, Khan manages to just about come up with these solo kills.
He's not giving away any free cannons either.
Yep, just going to go ahead and catch the wave. Says thank you very much. 5 HP is what he got knocked down to. Whoa. So,
Korean calculation.
It was very close.
Be able to hold up a bit of a freeze top lane as well, so Rise doesn't rush back to lane. It's going to be the same build we see from Prey, so we've been watching many other regions, you know, LPL and also NA and EU jumping on the Jhin, of course, and a lot of Yomus still, but it seems like Prey is a big fan of returning to the highest reliable DPS build, which is the Essence Reaver into a rapid fire cannon into IE to have some more auto attack threat as the game goes on.
King Zone pushing forward, clearing out some vision. They have Peanut hovering around the red, and he's just going to go aggressive here onto Haru. Misses the axe as he jumps away with a hook shot, but is still chasing through. This. Yeah, he's looking for it. Ultimatum comes down to get the pop up there onto Peanut, but Haru's still one hit. Peanut will be able to get the kill. Devour from Gorilla drags him back out. They'll clear out more vision and likely take the red buff.
And they're playing around pressure so well. They had the control ward and the entrance to the enemy red side jungle. And they knew that they would have the first rotation from Taliyah. That's the reliability of having the vision and also having the global. Crown wasn't in the face of the Taliyah, couldn't make her accountable. So it ends up being a steal and a kill for the side of King Zone.
I mean, they have this trifecta of semi-globals coming through. They have the charge coming through from Khan. He can run down from the top lane. You've got the Weaver's Wall from BDD, and then the Curtain Call from halfway across the map here from Price. So no matter where Peanut roams in, if he's got Gorilla, he's already safe, and then he's got the aggressive backup from the rest of his team.
And again, I spoke about this the last time King Zone played, but speaking to Gorilla, he says, just like on the Rocks Tigers, it is Peanut shot calling in the early game, largely around jungle invasions and understanding pressure. This is a team that backs up their aggressive-minded jungler. Peanut obviously in great form of confidence, this great form of recent minds, able to pull off these plays. And there was a great breakdown by Zyrene also. The teamfight breakdown, showing some of the next-level macro that King Zone have been able to pull off, and that's not a one-off. That's a reliable thing from King Zone.
Well, they're looking to go aggressive here yet again, but jumps to the side just in time for that shared recall. Those poor JJ, so keeps himself safe, but this is going to open up the turret for a bit of damage here as they have the wave moving up, but likely not going to be a take. So first brick still eluding us thus far, but a 2.2 thousand gold lead here in favor of King Zone, as well as those two dragons. Double dragons, one might say.
Ah, yes. Good old Double Dragon. Did you ever? Are you too young to have played Double Dragon?
No, absolutely not.
That's good to know.
Had a couple of those games and the crossover with Battletoads as well on my Sega Genesis.
That's the genre that's really gone away, is the beat 'em up.
You know, it really is. Streets of Rage, that kind of thing.
The last beat 'em up I played would probably be Castle Crashers, which was pretty much the same genre.
A damn good one, though.
That was a good one.
The crew coming out of Newgrounds. That was my old stomping grounds back in the day. That was my pre-YouTube website that I would very much frequent.
I think now they're mostly phone games, because I think when it comes to beat 'em ups, people want, you know, the action RPG. They want the next level mechanics, and the standard wade in and bash up people thing doesn't seem to hold as much water in 2018.
Oh, it was so satisfying, though.
Battletoads, classic, now that you mention it.
It was great. That crossover game was fantastic. One of my favorite classic games, I would have to say.
Well, Peanut's walking up, but not that tanky.
He's got the Ragnarok coming through. Technical sweep hits, and now Abyssal Voyage comes in. Seismic Shove gonna miss, but the Deadly Flourish finds the catch, and that's just gonna be Crown getting obliterated. Didn't even get to try to pop the flash. He gets taken down. They fish for a couple hits there with the remaining curtain call shots, but don't find anything.
And that's the biggest evolution for King Zone over the course of the season. Is when they started the season, Peanut was caught in the enemy jungle a couple of times. Like, okay, this is something that we saw this on SKT, we're seeing it on King Zone. They're never caught. Whenever you see Peanut by himself, the team always reacts first. They're going for a dive onto Haru of all things.
Not even. They just chunk him out and send him running.
but it's the synergy with his team that has leveled up, been the biggest change with King Zone over the 18 best-of-3s they will have played by the end of this series. They always rotate with their jungler. They are a true team rather than some superstars who are disconnected, and that's why when it looks like it's too good to be true, it definitely is a ruse.
Well, it took a couple iterations from Longzhu and then a change in the name, but it seems like they have finally perfected the system here.
And, you know, I have to put my hand up and say I wasn't sure they could pull off this lineup so easily. When they had Cuz and won the LCK and brought in Peanut, I think there should have been doubt about whether that would be an easy transition for them, as Cuz was very much a role-playing jungler who was pulled to the top lane rather than Peanut, who clearly is, you know, an invading jungler, who's a shot-calling jungler in the early game. And for them to so effortlessly bring back a player that, sure, two of their players had synergy around, and for Khan to step back a lot more, play a lot less carries than in the past, and make it so effortless in so few best-of-3s. It took about 5 or 6, and then we saw the King Zone we see today. Means they're even more impressive than they appeared on paper, and they're just as good as your imagination ran away with when it was announced that Peanut was joining at the time Longzhu game.
It's been a wonderful split from him. 2-0-4 here on the Olaf already, so 100% kill participation still coming through for Peanut, and he is just commanding the Rift. Not only just the jungle, but pretty much everywhere, every single lane. If he shows up, things are going to happen, just like right here in mid as Crown gets jumped on, almost gets taken down by the Olaf alone. BDD not flashing forward to try to go for the play. We'll just go ahead and get the flash away from the Syndra as Crown barely escapes with his life.
He's trying to take over the map. Like we mentioned, they do fall off in the late games. This is when you need to be proactive. They've got proactivity everywhere. 2 levels up, 3 levels up on
Haru would
Haru.
love to get this blue, but he just can't. BDD.
He's 3 levels up. The enemy jungler's 2 levels up. This is what we see more and more often from these jungle Camille's. It's very risky. And that was the big gamble I mentioned. I said, look at the jungle matchup. That'll decide the game. And then you look back at it and you can see, with a pretty significant gold lead and a massive pressure lead, the Olaf is outperforming the Camille in every aspect.
I mean, Gorilla and Court JJ are both just slightly behind Haru as far as the experience is concerned. He just hit 9. They've been 8 during that entire engagement, so you can see he has not been able to surge forward very much.
That's just Tom Kench. Okay.
Into the bot lane. It's just going to be joining in.
Just unsealed spellbook things.
Yep. You always have to question it. Who's coming through it? Is there more than one?
I mean, it could have been Sion to push a turret, I guess, but that's why I was like, okay, this is Gorilla. No, never mind. As top lane, the Banner of Command isn't there to make it the worst lane of all time for QV, but he's not going to be doing any significant damage, that's for sure.
He's not going to be taking any as well. He's going to be fairly all right now in the matchup, so no more of those 5 HP moments, it would seem.
And we're already at the point where you look at KSV's comp and say, time to get those defensive control wards at and lose the minimum, which is a scary thing. When King Zone are already in a position of power, they're walking up. It's going to be a 3v3, but Talia joined to make it a 4v3, so King Zone see KSV back away. Third Drake of the game already spawning at pre-17 minutes.
Reaver's Wall going to get thrown in just to cut them off from the turret as they look to take this one down. They'll just grab the Krugs instead. Pretty much all that KSV can get their hands on. And Dragon getting ready to come up. King Zone could just rotate over, grab their third of the game if they want.
Recently, when you watch King Zone, and they've calmed down a little bit from those crazy games over BBQ and other teams, does feel like you're getting a tutorial on macro and how to play the game. Get those superstar moments as well, but they get the objective, the Weaver's Wall at the perfect time. As the minion wave is crashing, they have 3 Drakes at 17 minutes. There can be one at 23 and 39. There'll be 5, and then imagine an Elder and 5 Drake stack buff come up at 35-30. That's what could happen in this game. That is insane power, super early.
It's gross. It's absolutely disgusting. I mean, every time King Zone plays, I'm just mildly disgusted, but also amazed at the same time.
One of those things where people are already asking me. I feel like the biggest thing I'm asked about is SKT, obviously, and their form, and that makes sense. They are the most popular team. I'd say the second most often thing I'm asked is, well, are King Zone going to choke like they did at Worlds? Because people are already seeing these performances, and that's where the mind goes because they've been so good, and because there's so far for them to fall, because what they're showing is so high. And obviously, I can't answer that question. It's very, very hard to know. With Worlds in Korea this year, that's looking more difficult because you don't have the extra variables like how will Khan's health be able to travel to a foreign land. But if that's the question you're asking about King Zone, pretty good sign the team is popping off.
I mean, King Zone going from this to, choking at Worlds, there's not that many comparisons. I guess the next closest one would probably be a world champion team, maybe not making it into the playoffs.
And that's the reality we live in.
Yep.
We had to leave that one breathe for a moment there. As KSV would love a breather, they would love to farm their own lanes and have King Zone back away.
I mean, the pressure is just still coming through. They want this top lane turret. Deadly Flourish. Looking for the hit there on a core JJ. Don't find it. Peanut's still just fearlessly pushing forward, chucking axes and clearing wards.
Should mention they don't have a fantastic Baron speed team, so KSV can at least have a couple of latitudes around the Baron being rushed when it spawns. But when it comes to this top turret living, that's harder.
When it comes to maybe core JJ and Ruler living, that might be difficult.
They got everything
getting
up.
pinched
So
on.
they're probably not going to die, but they certainly
peel back.
will have to play very, very safely. Banner of Command still not complete for the Scion, but that's the next pick in order to ruin some of the lane assignments that KSV have to deal with. For a big map play here, as you can see, Gorilla out of vision, looking for an Abyssal Voyage play. Cancels his Abyssal Voyage, actually.
Oh, it's going to be
Oh, look at the drifting.
Khan
he does
drifting
it.
his way through.
Beautiful.
He arrives in mid, and maybe he's just going to walk straight down bot again.
Do you reckon he plays Burnout or something to practice his Scion drifting?
He might.
Well,
Man, now I'm thinking about all the classic racing games.
Burnout Paradise just got re-released. I haven't played that game, but heard very good things about it.
Need for Speed Underground.
Sure.
Classic back on PlayStation 2. Man. I also just remembered that there was a Double Dragon movie from 1994.
Don't talk about the Double Dragon movie. Now, if you want to talk about the Mortal Kombat movie, I'll hear you. And let's talk about this top lane outer turret going down, because there's nothing that King Zone just have to deal with here.
Not much else to say about it. KSV can't really commit in for anything. Well, I say that, but Haru is going to be looking for a pick there onto Peanut, but immediately has to start jumping away. Deadly Flourish. Or rather, the curtain call going to come through, but misses the shots and will get canceled in the end.
Yeah, it was out of range, actually. That was Jin Prey overestimating his range, so just ended up instant canceling it.
A little off on that one.
On the side lane, QV can afford to back because he doesn't have to deal with Banner of Command yet, so has a bit more extra time in order to piece together some items. Do notice that he actually held on to all 6 stacks of his Minion Dematerializer, so that will answer the first 6 coming through. That was good preparation from QV. Don't see that very often in the LCK.
Yeah,
in other
usually
regions, we see a lot of teams hold on to the stacks.
Usually hold a couple at the end, but all 6 of them is a bit rare as Haru goes over. He just wanted the red buff, guys. You're a bunch of bullies. They'll kill him. They'll take the red. 7-2 is King Zone. It just keeps dominating here in this game.
And we saw it coming. You would have thought that Haru saw it coming, but he was confident in going for the matchup to attack the Olaf, going for his own playmaker. And so far, he's been very well answered by the side of King Zone. They're still not going to start the Baron. Wait and see if they actually do pull into this Baron start. They only have Jin, so their damage is not massive with a Mountain Drake. They're going to start it looking to peel a King Zone. They don't have teleport from Khan, so they can't get 5 people here, and QV can get there very fast.
Peanut zipping around the back. He's looking for Crown. Won't be able to get the lockdown there. Deadly Flourish going to go wide, and Khan is just now starting to push up. QV in the bot. TP's ready to go as Haru starts to rejoin.
I think KSV have been really smart around the Baron. Okay, Prey's going to open
that's
up.
just going to be a bit of a point-blank one coming through here off the curtain call, but no one can get to that Jin in the back. Significant chunk goes through. Featherstorm up from Ruler. He tries to get out. Seems like he's kiting quite well. Decimating Smash, not going to get the slow. Devour comes through to keep Khan alive and in the fight. King Zone actually have to peel back away from this one.
Yeah, it's actually really well played by KSV, but Haru going to have to back away. That was actually really well played by KSV. So far, they're reading the script really well. For example, holding on to Dematerializer by the Rise. That's exactly what we expected Scion to do. Get a Banner of Command, well done. In this area, King Zone have amazing turn-off Baron, but very poor Baron damage. So you can very easily say, let's be a little bit less respectful of the Baron being fully completed and be ready for the turn, and KSV have. So good to see that so far, the veteran shot calling, defensive mindedness is working for KSV. But you give King Zone too much of a leash, and we know they will also use that against you.
I almost would have liked to have seen a delay on the Banner of Command from Khan, just because he knows that those Dematerializers are sitting in the inventory. If he had just built another item and was just like, well, you're just wasting an inventory slot.
The nice thing about it
Here's
is,
my power coming through.
The nice thing about it is if he finds someone that isn't Rise, that person actually, Rise kind of has to walk up and find it, so you can still affect lane assignments. If he goes to a side lane, Rise says, oh, I have a dematerializer, I'll go there too. And that is a force just because you built an item. So there is still something around it, but I do follow your logic of if there was another purchase that was really invited, then you could have considered it.
Let's go for something stupid, you know.
I mean,
Ravenous Hydra.
Peanut's gone for an item that I heavily criticized from Raze, who went behind, went for the Black Cleaver early. Now, Peanut's far from behind, so a snowball Black Cleaver is a different thing in this particular game.
He's still got 100% kill participation, and he is massively ahead of Haru in CS.
Sure, but he ults, loses resist, and he could get bursted by the Synders. There is a chance, given that he's invested more in damage. I'm not criticizing it, but it's something to note, is that it's a different build. It's not full tank, it's not the Trinity Force, so he's not legendary at 16 minutes into the game. But he is another target that Syndra wouldn't mind unloading a full combo on.
See just how much damage Crown can do if he gets the opportunity, because so far, he's just got the 2 items completed. And the Sork Boots. Seraph's Embrace plus that Void Staff, so not going to be the hardest hitting Syndra yet.
And King Zone actually find KSV with quite a lot of anti-burst tools. They also have double shields, as we're going to watch Weaver's Wall
coming through here. Prey looking for the Deadly Flourish, now opens up with the Curtain Call, and Core JJ, he's going to flash away, gets himself out of range, as does Crown. Yet again, getting away by the skin of their teeth.
But at some point you have to start counting the summoners and seeing what's down. So they know that Core JJ has no playmaking left open. That's something to respect. Ruler's Flash is down as well. That means the bottom lane is really not in position to turn around Baron. It's another piece of information that King Zone can trade upon. But just like in their last series with the Jhin, it is a bit slower because Baron starts is still something they're not feeling comfortable enough to actually pull off.
QV no TP, so could try to force something up perhaps here at this point. Core JJ, of course, very elusive with the Rakan. Keeps himself nice and safe, just dashing away.
It's all a bit predictable for King Zone, and seems like KSV are making smart reads. Just the Q there to poke into the brush. They know that's where King Zone will be. At some point, King Zone's going to have to start this Baron and actually deal with quite a lot of threat from KSV. 2 items now onto the Xayah. Takes convergence there to amp the damage a bit. Haru could die again, though.
He is going to be walking around. Gorilla looking for him. Seismic Shove catches him, and he just disappears. BDD, want to see a magic trick? We say yes. And there goes that Camille. Ruler now getting jumped on. Final shot from the Curtain Call comes through, but just a little bit too late to scoop up the kill. Peanut will take that one for himself. 9-2, 2 members dead. That should be the welcome there for King Zone to start up the Baron.
If you want to walk into the forest, always bring friends. That's always been the adage, but sadly Haru went on a solo mission. He wasn't pre-buffering his hook shot, so he just ended up getting shoved into Doom, and this will be the Baron for King Zone.
Core JJ can't even try to push forward to get any vision on that one. He's just going to be going over, so 26.5 minute Baron there to King Zone. Still have not lost a single turret in this game.
Yeah, Haru, I think the moment that you walk into vision of the river, you pre-buffer your hook shot. Otherwise, there's a really very real chance you instantly die. Khan walks in. There's no flash onto Ruler, so he will eventually die throughout the course of this.
The Olaf.
High threat coming through from the Black Cleaver. Beautifully pulled off by King Zone, but honestly, I feel like Haru made it a little bit too easy. They need to be more respectful of the very likely Baron turn.
And this is, you know, starting to beg the question, do we get to see Ambition just rotated in yet again in game number 2? Seems fairly likely, as this Camille just has not been working out.
And I think your tone is actually pretty appropriate there, because you sound a bit disdainful saying that, and I think the reality of this season is the difference between Haru and Ambition's been almost zero. Both of them have played the same champions. There's been no Rengar priority since very early in the season from Haru. We haven't seen an aggressive jungler and a passive farming jungler. We've seen kind of both of them cosplaying as each other, playing each other's champions. So it's been really no value from either, which is a far-flung difference from last year, where there was always a viable reason to run Ambition or Haru.
Well, the other thing that we can maybe look forward to is with Peanut being 404, could be that MVP win coming through. He might be able to force the tie there with BDD and maybe lead to the 4-point tie. Well, that was very poor drifting here from Khan, a bit uncharacteristic. Will flash away. And now they're going to try to turn things around with the Abyssal Voyage here as Gorilla and Prey arrive. Curtain Call comes through. Finds the first shot on Haru, but he makes his way out. Cube will do so as well. And that was an odd hiccup, we'll call it here from King Zone. But now they're in position to go ahead and maybe take out this turret. Decimating smash, knocks up Cube. Are they just going to go for the dive? They're threatening it.
Don't have IE yet onto Prey, so don't have one-shot potential. Olaf's in the mid lane, actually, through all of this KSV. Just don't want to lose a second turret. Weaver's wall.
He's going to go ahead. Yeah, can't lock them in.
But gets the instant flash out of Crown as he was on the wrong side. 404, KSV's playoff fortunes not found is the score line from Olaf.
Yikes.
It's the reality here. The Trinity Force is complete on the Camille, but it's a slow one, Achilles. That means she dies instantly.
I mean, that's the first item.
Yep.
It's that. And a Skirmisher Saber. Root comes through, Cube locked in. Yeah, it's just not been a good look here from Haru. Poor JJ going in, looking for the engagement. Khan is still just tanking up everything here on the front line. Prey gets chipped away at a little bit, but he's got the range, he's got the root. And pushing forward, seismic shove not connecting there onto Cube, but
really want this.
They're just gonna go ahead and blow him up. Prey finds the killing blow 10-2 in the end. And do they just go for the victory here off this push?
Oh, he gets the actual
That's gonna be the answer, yes. Crown just disappears, double kill, going over to Prey. As he's looking for a little bit more damage, finds that last shot in onto Core JJ. And they are just working their way through the base now. Seismic shove not going to hit. Core JJ still yet again just dancing around, trying to keep himself alive. Haru goes forward and with a hook shot, tries to get the stun. Ultimatum here in onto BDD, but he does not die. The power from Gorilla keeps him alive. And King Zone now will turn their sights in onto the Nexus turrets. One down, Khan sitting up front, just trying to stop them from pushing forward.
He's trying to keep them out of the fountain.
From defending. Weaver's Wall stops them from getting in the fountain, but the Nexus has been exposed here at 30 minutes, and King Zone should have this one in the bag.
Still playing with their food.
Charge in, get the pop-up roller, disappears. Core JJ can't make it out. Prey claims another one. Haru will not make it away. Another double kill. Goes over to Prey, and Cube can do nothing but watch as the base crumbles around him. King Zone absolutely dismantled KSV in game one.
King Zone playing with their food in this game, working through some issues after losing to them in 2 series in a row. The World's quarterfinals, it's not going to be easy for them to forget. But the first round robin without Khan in the lineup had that asterisk, one of the 2 series that King Zone have dropped. They want to reverse the scoreline, go 2-2, and even the ledger against their opponents today, and they've gone a long way towards making that happen because King Zone looked a class and a cut above KSV.
Absolutely crushing here. King Zone just shut them out of the game early, and a lot of it comes from the work done by Peanut. Invading jungler, goes in, and Haru, he can't find a leg to stand on. Not a good look there with the Camille. Was already a risky pick. Then he's playing it into Peanut, and then it just doesn't work out. You can see Crown here, just seems like he doesn't know what even just happened in the last 30 minutes.
Problem is, Achilles, let's say you go back, you ban the Olaf like you expected them to. Something else would have slipped out and could have been turned upon them, and then you would have said, well, why did they leave open the Scion? Why did they leave open the Galio? There's so many different picks that King Zone can wield. We were looking for KSV to have an ace up their sleeves. They thought it was the Haru Camille into the Olaf. It didn't work. Otherwise, it was business as usual. And business as usual in the LCK is King Zone winning in dominating fashion.
Well, that's going to set the tone for this best of 3 series, I suppose. KSV, if they want to upset SKT, going to have to go ahead and win 2 in a row. But I don't know if they're even going to get close to winning a single game here after that game 1. Absolutely nuts. We'll find out more when we come back from the break.